My subject today is entitled Courage. Courage. Write it down. If you have a pen, let's write this one down. It's a very interesting subject. God was speaking to me. Oh my goodness, amazing, amazing. I discovered how important this particular virtue is to every single believer. Courage. But I would like to narrow it down a little bit so that I can make more sense out of it. And I speak about what courage can do to a believer. If you'd like me to paraphrase it, I would like to say the manifestations of courage inside a believer. We do want it, to be honest with you. And especially at this particular dispensation that we are living, I think the only thing that can take us through is having courage. Let me first of all give you some of the natures of courage. Courage itself in nature, it's one of the most important virtue. One of the most important virtue among other Christians or believers' virtues that we have. As a matter of fact, if I would put it in the light way, I would say all the Christians' values and virtues lays on top of courage. You might have so much of it and good virtues as a believer, but if you do not have courage, you can't take this way up. You might have a good vision, you might have a good dream, you might have a good ministry, but if you do not have courage, you cannot execute whatever God has put inside of you. Not even a vision, not even writing a book, not even a song. It calls for courage to execute our visions to become reality. We need it. I want to speak about this very important one too, that I discovered that even good intentions rides on the wings of courage. It doesn't matter how good your intentions are. They are absolutely useless if they are not translated to become actions. I'm giving you a very good example. I remember I preached about the Good Samaritan. He walks around, finds a man who is beaten on his way to Jerusalem. He sees and falls pity on this man. He has good intentions, but he translates that by making them to become good actions. He begins to respond and become the first responder to the nature of this person's problems. That doesn't mean there were no other people who had perished. The Bible says there was a priest who had passed by. There was a Levite who had passed by. Maybe they had good intentions. They looked at the man. They pitied the man. But they never had the courage. They never gathered the courage to do the best. And that's why I say it doesn't matter how good your intentions are, if you do not have the courage to execute them to become good actions. I want to say this very important also, nature of courage. Courage is like a bridge upon which we walk through to go to our purpose. Say for instance, here is my presence. This is where I am. This is my presence. God created a purpose of you, purpose of me. But the way towards that purpose is a bridge that we call courage. You're gonna have to do it. You're gonna have to wake up and leave your comfort zone. And the only driving force is courage. Courage is so important and virtue, powerful virtue of every believer, because it takes you to fulfill the purposes of God. Without it, you can never become who God intended you to become. That's why we jump on top of that bridge. And when I was looking at that symbolic emblem of a bridge, it reminds me of a very interesting thing, that a bridge, in most of the cases, we see only a third of a bridge. Two-thirds of it is buried in the ground. Or maybe it's under the water. The only thing that is visible is approximately a third. Otherwise, the cement, the concrete, the steel are buried under the ground. And on top, the bridge is built. We may see good things and good results, but behind, under, is where the major work that holds things together lies. This building that we are in Before they put this construction, there was a foundation that was put in here. And they dug this so deep. They put so much money. And then they covered it. That's how courage is all about. It is something that sometimes you cannot be able to visibly see. But it holds together the beauty of everything. Even this ministry that you see around, people worshiping and singing here, putting this online and all these kind of beautiful things that we are putting up together, there is some courage of a man and a woman of God somewhere who have said, I will take a step of courage, and upon it we can build the visions and the beauty. And I tell you, there's no any other time in life that we need this virtue. That's why I feel it's important. It's important. Like this, it's important. It's the bridge. It's the bridge to your purpose. It's the bridge for your connection with God. Courage is always inside of. It's a package of your creation. You have it. You got it. The only reason you don't feel it is because you've not activated it. I have this very interesting example I always say about a gadget I bought one day, and then I failed to see it work. And I started to go to YouTube looking for how it can work. And then I called the people who sold it to me, and they said, you've not activated it. It's not gonna work. Courage can be inside of you, and until you exercise, you activate. That's the nature of courage. You can't realize it until you let it come out, until you activate the courage. We hold inside of us that virtue that is very important. Leaving it inside without activating it. I don't care what kind of a phone you have. It may cost $1,000, $2,000, but if you do not activate, it will not execute what it is made to do. Courage is inside. It's a package bound together with you. When God created you, you are fearfully and created like God in his own likeness and image. God is a God of courage, and he put that likeness inside of you. It's only that we do not activate that element that is inside of us. Activate it. And another element I like to speak about, all the nature of this courage is very realistic, that the nature of your blessings directly depends on the nature of your courage. If you have a small courage, that results to small miracles. If you have a big amount of hope and courage to take steps of faith, that is exactly what you're going to have to live.